Hello, Steamians. Welcome back to the shed. Bucky Dirtle here. I am happy to be here with you in the shed talking about music and poetry. Now, poetry today because I'm going to be improvising around a poem by Azaria. Now, tell me if I'm saying that incorrectly. I hope I'm not, but Azaria? Let me know. So, the poem that Azaria has put on her blog, or it's her, I believe Azaria is female, is Distortion of Dissonance. Now, if you've listened to my playing my music on Steam It, you know that I'm not afraid of a bit of dissonance. I really like dissonance. I love music that has some dissonance in it. All kinds of styles, whether it's jazz or classical or rock or whatever. I like dissonance. I find it makes things interesting. It's a nice spice on the music. You know, if you think about like hot sauce being something that's nice to the palate, well, dissonance can be as well. So I find myself being drawn to putting dissonance in. Now, when I read her poem, Distortion of Dissonance, I started thinking about it. And that's what these poems do, and that's what pieces of art do. They make you think. Sometimes it doesn't necessarily make you think about exactly what the poet or the sculptor had in their mind, but it gives you a springboard to think about something else that maybe wasn't the intention of the artist. I don't know. But that's what good art does. So this made me start thinking about dissonance and what dissonance is. Now, in music, when we talk about dissonance for notes, we're talking about stuff like different, combining two notes together, an interval between two notes that is jarring in some way. Now, some cultures have different things are dissonant to different ears. If you're used to listening Britney Spears all the time or Mozart all the time, well, then certain things may be dissonant to you that is not dissonant to other cultures. I mean, for example, you may find that a little dissonant. It's an augmented second in there that makes it really kind of sound a little Persian, you might say. That may be dissonant to you. Whereas if you're from that part of the world and you're used to listening to that music all your life, you may not find that dissonant one bit. So that's one thing. It's all about context, first of all. The other thing is that when you're listening to two dissonant notes as an interval, like that, or like, let's say, let me take another one. Let's say we do a D and an A flat. So we have two beautiful notes. We have a D. We have A flat. When you put those two together, they make a tritone. And a tritone is outlawed by the church for centuries. It's like the devil interval, I think it was called. Anyway, those two notes, that interval between those two notes was a no-no. And a lot of people find that very dissonant, that tritone. But it's two beautiful notes. I said it's a D and it's an A flat. Beautiful notes by themselves, but put them together, they make something that's jarring. But they also make something really nice. If you listen close, I don't know if you can hear it on these microphones, but it makes a third note. Those two notes combined together makes a third note. A low note. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's a third note, really low. So those two beautiful notes together make something jarring, but also make something really nice. So as a byproduct, that's something. The other thing too is sometimes when you combine certain notes, they make what's called beats. And beats are when the wavelengths of two notes they combine and make pulses in sound. Almost sounds like a rhythm, but see if I can do one for you. You can hear it, that pulse. It's when the two wavelengths, like, so I'm playing an A, and like something that's a little bit higher than an A, I hear higher. So it's not an A sharp, but it's a little higher than an A. Played together, they can make those pulses. So I'm dissecting dissonance here. And I know that Azaria's poem was The Distortion of Dissonance. Well, that's kind of what we're doing. We're looking at dissonance and maybe some other lights. Okay, so now let me just use some improvisation using various different dissonance. And this is kind of like a, this is going to be like a buffet table of, or potluck as we say here in Newfoundland, of dissonance. So there's going to be all kinds of dissonance. And maybe you'll hear something that you might like, and maybe if you're a musician and you want to use it in the future, you can. But let's just lay out some dissonance for you guys to check out. Here we go. There you go. There's some examples of some dissonances. I hope you enjoyed it. And you probably hear the beats. And you can also probably hear some of those notes that are created from the combination of two notes together, which don't, traditionally match. They create another note underneath or above, and you can move that note up and down depending on the tuning. So you can hear all kinds of cool things going on in dissonance. Just don't write it off too quick. And of course, there's always a metaphor of dissonance when we say dissonance is something in our lives. Two people get together, it's a dissonant relationship, but it maybe have something in it that's special. I don't know. But anyway, all kinds of metaphors. I'm just a musician. I'm not a poet like Azaria, and you should check out her blog because it's fantastic, and check out all of her stuff, and see you next time.